Random.
Taking you now to Sydney, where Troy Grant is speaking regarding his resignation.
I've had no fear of losing the next elections, not a factor in my decision. This is just all about my family and the future.
7 years being in the political bear pit, what's next?
I don't know. I haven't factored that into my decision. I wanted to make this decision for the right reasons, without any influence of, what potentially greener pastures on the other side of the fence. I don't know. I obviously need to give that some consideration, and fairly quickly. I've got a mortgage to pay like everyone else. A couple of kids going to uni. I've got a fund, so but I'll balance that with just working my guts out for the remainder of my term and honouring the contract I entered into with the people of Dubbo in 2015 to be their member. And whatever that'll be, I'll just give it my best, and as I've always done my whole life, work hard and do whatever I can, but always try and contribute to my community, just not in such a public way.
What about the cops? How do you think you
Look, one of the things I'm most proud of is that in life you don't get to take an oath of office to serve very often. I got to do that in the cops. I got to do it as a minister and a parliamentarian. And to be a police officer, then have the privilege to represent them, and in addition, the wonderful men and women of the emergency services, to be their advocate in Cabinet has been one of the great privileges of my life.
Who would be your preferred candidate to replace you?
There's an old saying in politics, kiss of death. I won't be nominating anyone. Whoever's selected by the very democratic National Party will have my support, and there's plenty of great people out in our electorate who will serve Dubbo very well.
Would you be disappointed if a Liberal candidate ran?
If the Liberal I think the coalition agreement's pretty clear in relation to three-cornered contest, so I don't suspect a Liberal candidate will come forward in Dubbo.
Are you leaving the city?
Look, I don't think the Dubbo electorate could be better poised for more prosperity. It's one of the fastest growing regional cities in Australia. The growth, the investment, private investment that's happening there on the back of the government investment is significant. Dubbo is pumping. Mudgee's going great. All the smaller communities with investments, federal and state, inland rail, highway upgrades, health upgrades is just enormous. So this is a great time to be the member for Dubbo into the future. Lots of ribbons to be cut, lots of names on plaques. I won't be cutting the ribbons. I won't be having my name on the plaque. But it doesn't worry me, because it's never been about me, it's been about the community.
Is there any other business?
So I just missed it. There's always more to do, but I'm more than satisfied with what I've contributed. Very proud and very grateful to all the stakeholders I've had across many ministries. I love the arts portfolio. We did tons there, record funding, amazing infrastructure and great opportunities. Racing, tax parity, really set the industry up. Just tourism, I had great opportunities there, lots of initiatives. I've had that many gigs, it's hard to remember it all, but I'll take the time in the future to look back and reflect on my experience, and I'll be reflecting very fondly.
Whoever is police minister next, what advice would you give?
Trust the cops. We have the best police force in the world. I've made a very clear distinction between the role of the Commissioner and the role of the Minister, and it's not the Minister's job to run the police, it's the Commissioner's job. It's the Minister's job to facilitate for the police. And that's budget, that's policy, that's legislation. So you just got to be the greatest advocate for the great men and women in blue. Your job's not to run the force. Look, I understand the concerns that have been made about my comments, but I've been a passionate advocate for child sexual assaults and the outcomes of court cases. I levelled no criticism against the magistrate in particular. It was the decision I focused on. I didn't think the opportunity for home detention for a heinous crime of that nature was appropriate. I said so. I stand by my comments. I apologise if I've offended anyone, but I certainly stand by my comments.
I just wanted to ask you about the knife police officer. What's your reaction to that?
Well, as someone that got stabbed on the job myself, I'm just grateful that the officer's okay. But again, shows you the dangers and the risks of what our police on the front line face every day. To have a near miss of that nature is a concern. Again, I'm just so grateful the officer, from all the information I have, is okay, and that person's in custody and now will be before the courts.
In one word, sum up your career.
Gratitude. Thank you, everyone.
That is the New South Wales Police Minister Troy Grant there, who has announced that he will not be contesting the 2019 state election for the seat of Dubbo. He said running for that election is not the right time for me or my family. Just then in that media conference where he did get emotional partway through it, he said he was very proud of what he had contributed to his community during his time in the role, and that it is a great time to be a member for Dubbo, for the incoming member, whoever that might be. As for the future for Mr Grant, he said that that's up in the air. He's not sure, but he will have to make a decision fairly soon because, like most of us, he has a mortgage to pay and children are going to university. Well, the tax office has estimated the